goes in, 2 goes in. When it gets to 3, people are flooding out. Thousands, I'm talking of thousands. And the atmosphere completely changes. And I don't know where to start with the performance. It was awful to watch. Liverpool were outstanding.
How was the start, Dion, from kick-off?
They were okay. They were okay.
Positive? Mood was good?
It was positive.
Mood was good?
Mood was better than what it has been, to be fair. They started okay for the first 2 minutes.
Fernandes had a good chance at 0-0, didn't he?
Bruno Fernandes should have scored at 0-0. If they'd have scored that one, it might have been different. I don't think it would have changed anything. It just would have been 5-1 or 6-1.
Yeah.
The reason I think it's more extraordinary than even United losing 6-1 at home to Man City 10 years ago, that was 3-1 going into stoppage time,
worse.
and they were
That is
chasing the
worse.
game.
That's worse.
Tottenham 6-1 last season, Martial was sent off. This has got 8-2 all those years ago, Arsenal, Man United. Arsenal had loads of injuries. This, Man United at home to Liverpool in the game of the season, losing 5-0, and they stopped playing after 55 minutes.
That's the worry.
They stopped playing, they need to anymore.
That's the worry. These freak scorelines can happen. We see it every now and again. The worry is, for Man United fans especially, watching that performance, Liverpool just went at 5. Liverpool just went, that'll do. We don't need to stress ourselves. Yeah. We don't, because it was too easy. I can't remember an easier game. All right, we might look at Chelsea versus Norwich, but these two teams going at it, the two biggest clubs in the world, and one being so dominant. I can remember before the game, I was having a discussion with Paul. My Paul was going, how's the game going? And I said, everything about what I see from Man United this season, everything about my football eyes and my brain tells me that Liverpool should win this very easy. But Ronaldo might just turn it on. Bruno might just turn it on.
The Old Trafford crowd will play their part.
Joke last week, I said it in jest about the Harlem Globetrotters and what Man United are, and they're a team full of individuals. Leicester showed the week before, when they scored 4, they could have scored 7. And you watch that performance, my word, it was too easy. It's incredible.
I think we're going to have to limit ourselves to sort of a couple of points on every goal. Otherwise, we'll be here till the next millennium, won't we? Really.
We need to dissect these goals. There's so many things wrong with these goals. It's
well, just try and enlighten everybody around the world.
Yeah.
What did it? I mean, Liverpool were brilliant. We didn't want to take this away and go, Man United, useless. Liverpool were brilliant.
But we have to dissect
what's
happening at
So let's start at the beginning then. Let's have a look at the first goal.
Right, so I'm going to play this and I'm going to let it go for the first few seconds ago where Man United are trying to close the ball down and Liverpool are quite comfortable. They've got an early dominance in the game. Now, there's so many catalogue of mistakes that start from here. Now, Bruno Fernandes is putting the press on. He's closing down. There has to be now a trigger. He's your trigger. We always work on triggers in football. Bruno Fernandes is closing the goalkeeper down. Now, there has to be a coordinated closing down, a sequence of players from Man United to shut Liverpool down because you don't leave him exposed. That's rule number 1. If you want to take a break and you shout, I'll be shouting to Bruno, don't go. Don't go. Do not go. You're wasting your legs. You're wasting your energy because you can't win that. You've got 2v1 and 2 good footballers. Now, the sequence of events that happens after that is astonishing. So once Bruno Fernandes has decided to close the ball down, that's probably mistake number 1, but I'd let him off because he's showing some intent. The biggest mistake, or the 2 biggest mistakes that you're going to see now is Mason Greenwood has got himself in no man's land. The last place on earth Mason Greenwood should ever think about going is shutting Van Dijk down. Because that distance is what, Dion? 20 yards?
Yeah.
Can't get there.
No, you can't.
20 yards to a footballer is a lifetime. What he should be doing, Mason Greenwood, and you're always taught this, he should be shutting the line off. He should be shutting Andy Robertson off and saying to Virgil van Dijk, have the ball here. You are 0 threat. Even though he's a good passer of the ball, he is not going to carve you open. The mistake in the sequence of events after that, there's your mistake. He knows he's there, so body position should be coming across. Van Dijk then pings it into Andy Robertson. Have a look at the effect it has then on Wan-Bissaka.
On there and here. So it's like, what happens is, when the ball's on one side of the pitch, the whole team has to find its way over. So you leave the furthest man, the lesser of the evils, come round and make sure you're tidy. When Wan-Bissaka goes in, Lindelof comes over, Maguire has to come over. Shaw should be over as well. That's what normally happens. It's a trigger like
that's Liverpool. That's Man United's back 4. That's their back 4. And you watch it from there, and it is absolutely astonishing.
Right, one mistake after
I've got to point out,
another.
I've got Andy Robertson started that.
Yes.
He started it. Andy Roberts. Just take you back down. I've just got a point. This is the one point I need to make. Andy Roberts, he starts back there and he gets the ball. He runs by Greenwood, Wan-Bissaka, McTominay, Lindelof, and Maguire.
Yeah.
He runs by 5 red shirts.
So that's just desire.
Look, just wants to get.
He could have scored. Andy Robertson could have scored.
It's
Well,
just,
Wan-Bissaka's trotting.
it's embarrassing. You'll never. The best players in the world can only be the best players in the world if they work hard first.
Yep.
You have to work hard. Thierry Henry worked so hard. Wrighty worked so hard. Shearer worked so hard.
Yeah.
And then you get your goals and your rewards.
And it's going to get worse.
Yep.
Goal number 2.
So we've seen 3 things in there, which is no synchronicity of pressing, the ill discipline at the back, and just a lack of desire to get through. Okay, here we go again.
There we go again. I'll take it back. It stems from that left-hand side from Man United. I'll try and rattle through as quick as I can. But you've got to try and make the point. Andy Robertson having all of this space whatsoever to play in. That is too much room. You know, Mason Greenwood is looking at the ball. He's ball watching. He's looking. Got to try and get yourself in a position back there because the effect it has for Wan-Bissaka standing behind him is incredible. Play it on. Mason Greenwood. Now look at Wan-Bissaka.
The communication has to come from behind Mason Greenwood because he can't see that.
No.
Wan-Bissaka should be saying, come back 10 yards, come back 10 yards, cut off the line. I'll stay here. He doesn't stay there.
There's your back line again. That's supposed to be a straight line. That back line's supposed to be straight.
Now a lack of a call.
Lack of information.
What do you say? What's one of your maxims about a shout?
Oh,
It's Dion's, I think.
Yeah.
early shout sorts it out. Simple as that.
So Luke Shaw probably should have shouted,
Man
Luke's
from behind.
ball.
Something.
Clears it, heads it away.
What happens is you deal with the danger and then you chat to your teammate afterwards.
Yes.
Once the danger's gone. You don't go, yours, mine, I'm not quite sure. Oh, we're 2-0 down.
Yeah.
Terrible.
2-0 down,
2-0 down.
3-0 down.
3-0 down.
Mo Salah's first.
Yes. This is just sheer desire from Mo Salah. Sheer desire to want to score goals, not to be held by anybody, somebody that's trying to not work as hard as you. I'll make sure that I get on the score sheet. Watch Mo Salah.
What a goal, by the way.
Little
Lovely.
touch there,
One
gets
touch.
back involved again. There we go, set Salah up. Shot doesn't work. Watch his desire to get in the box.
Yep.
Shaw is
Straight
trying
in
to
there.
pull him back.
Yep. And he literally shrugs off Shaw, doesn't he? Gets in front of him, turns it in.
At that point in the game, you're like, what's this scoreline going to be? Because it was going right away from Man United in a rapid, space of time. It was incredible.
And that's where I was sat now in the stand. Sat in the stand. I've got my lip mic here. I'm looking, I'm thinking, I'm just watching people leave the stadium. Like that.
And you're also where you are there, right next to the
Right
director's
next to
box.
all the directors that were there as well. Could see Sir Alex there. Could see Gareth Southgate, the England manager as well. Everybody was there.
See Kenny Dalglish's
Kenny
face?
Doug was there. He was enjoying himself.
Yeah, he was. As somebody said, he's going to have that smile surgically removed, isn't
What were
he?
the noises from the main stand, Dion? It was towards the players, towards
Everything.
Ollie.
Just towards the performance and what they were seeing. It was pretty embarrassing, Don. And you could see, the gaffer, Sir Alex, literally just shaking his head, not knowing what to say or to think.
Yeah.
3 became 4.
Salah second. By this point, Man United are stunned. They want half-time. But again, it's fixable. Too much room for Andy Robertson to work in. Wan-Bissaka, yet again, I do not mean to be criticising Wan-Bissaka all of the time, but there's points where you can't shut the ball down. And if Man United fans will be going, you need to shut the ball down, stop them from playing. Absolutely correct. But sometimes you've got to have the ability just to go, I can't get there. I'm just going to stay in my shape.
So you just stay in shape. You can't get there, just stay in shape.
This is the fourth. That should happen at 1. When you're losing 1 and when you're losing 2, there's got to be an ability where I go back to people like Roy Keane and Brian Robson and Paul Scholes, Patrick Vieira, Emmanuel Petit. If they ever find themselves 1 or 2-0 down, they understand the game. They would say, whatever happens here, do not lose another one. We get in at half-time, 1 or 2-0 down, and the manager and us will sort this. It's incredible how a team like Liverpool can go there, who were magnificent, can find themselves 4 up at half-time.
Now, you know what? Players that you've mentioned, when it gets to 2, will be saying, forget what the manager said. I'm not letting this happen to us in our own home.
Yeah.
People like Patrick Vieira and Paul Ince, going absolutely mental. they'd be pointing and saying, you know...
There was a lack of any of that, wasn't there, when the goals went in?
What you say is, if I'm playing in central midfield with Dion, I'm saying to Dion, right, Dion, 5 minutes, man for man.
Yeah.
You step on him, I step on him.
Do a job.
We all go for 5 minutes only, man for man.
Yeah.
You take it upon yourself. You don't wait for any instructions from a coach or a manager.
Correct.
You're oblivious to what the manager's saying because you're 4-0 down and your headspace, you're in a whirlwind. So you go, right, I'm going on Chris Foy, I'm stopping him from playing. You're not going to kick because Dion, get on him. And then you tell your mates behind you, Wan-Bissaka, stay in your shape. Luke Shaw, don't move.
And that was missing yesterday. Any of that communication, wasn't it?
That's all it was. Mark, it's just communication. It's trying to help your teammate out. Don's mentioned it a few times. There's a lot of individuals on the pitch. Somebody going on their own. Wan-Bissaka going, not getting back in. It was just a catalogue. It was really poor.
Fifth goal, just more desire from Liverpool with the fifth goal. Was the desire to win the ball in the central midfield?
Yeah, exactly. This sums up the performance of Man United compared to Liverpool. And this is how you win the ball back.
Yep.
You win the ball back.
Pogba on at half-time.
Yeah, you win the ball back, right? And you try and get a space or an area where you can close Man United down. They win the knockdown. The 50-50 in the middle of the park. Now look at I was going to say white shirts of Liverpool, but they're just off-white. And then look at the ball from Jordan Henderson.
Great.
I mean, honestly, that ball to go... try and get this right. Where is he there? I'll try and get that right in between the two centre-backs with just a little bit of curl.
Yeah.
Probably the best I can do there.
Look at that thread, Don. That's great.
That wasn't bad, was it?
No.
For the run then of Mo Salah. So that's something you can't teach, the way to pass. All this bit, closing down, and the second balls and the bits that we call
desire, isn't it?
It's desire.
It's just desire.
That pass from Henderson is as good as Salah's pass last week, wasn't it? Yeah,
and the finish is...
I knew he was going to score.
But you know what? The thing that summed the whole game up for me, 92 minutes, Jordan Henderson is shouting and screaming at his players, get in here, don't concede. He's the captain of Liverpool. That's how you... That's how
5 up.
That's how you lead your team to victory. When they went 5-0 up and they calmed down, it was because they was managing the game so well. They managed the game so well. Look at that.
Best player in the world. No one's going to sue us. Best player in the world.
We've been saying it for weeks, months.
Yep.
I mean, the guy's in incredible form.
His conversion rate's 30%.
Yeah, it is. I think
mine 1 in 3.
Mine wasn't 30% in the whole of my career. That is outstanding.
Pogba came on at half-time, went off 15 minutes later. We had quite a good text debate on this. I'm going to have to admit I was wrong. I thought it was a strong yellow when I saw it, and you quickly put me right on the text.
I thought it was a strong yellow and you were wrong.
I was wrong.
Sorry, Matt.
I was wrong. I was wrong.
It was.
Yeah.
Did you know straight away, Chris?
I'll be brutally honest with you. No, I didn't. It was just afterwards I got a reaction, and you could feel it from how the players had reacted. I mean, from Anthony Taylor's point of view, he just sees it as a reckless challenge, and this is where we see VAR playing a part in getting a big decision right. You know, a missed red card, and when you look at it, Don, I mean, you know all about tackling.
Cheers.
And you see it. It's just
all about going over the top of the ball. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a good tackle. And this is where VAR worked perfectly. You know, Anthony makes an honest decision as he does. He thinks it's a reckless challenge. The review's recommended, and when you see that, you know, he trots over to the review area, sees that picture.
You know what it is as well. As a player, there's an extra step to be made there as well. Comfortably.
Look at that,
comfortably.
Dion. That's a leg breaker.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Pogba could make an extra step.
Yeah, there's an extra step that he can make to make a block tackle quite easily, but he's decided to launch himself. As soon as you launch up and that knee comes up, then you're in trouble. Well, side on again. I always mention side on.
Yes, you do. You often mention
the tackle went side on as well.
Yes.
1 foot on top of the other.
Yeah.
That's protection.
Coward's tackle.
Coward's tackle.
Well, he's off the ground as well, isn't he? I mean, he's off the ground, and when you're off the ground, you're not in control of your actions. And as I said, it was a fabulous VAR intervention. It's quite rightly sent off.
Do you know, Chris, when we say coward's tackle, you know, a tackle between two players when they go 50-50.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in a game. I've done the Newcastle Crystal Palace game at the weekend. Anything can happen in a game. I've done the Newcastle Crystal Palace game at the weekend. Anything can happen in a game. I've done the Newcastle Crystal Palace game at the weekend. There was 2 central midfield players went in for a massive 50-50. Milivojevic and Hayden. And they both of them went in a million miles an hour. And you know one of them is going to come off worse. Both of them were low. Both of them were going
committed,
for the ball.
Yeah.
They were committed. It was a brilliant 50-50. And Milivojevic took a knock, got back up, played on. The coward tackle is when you go in on the side because you're taking your body, your face, your chest, everything out of the equation of getting injured, and you know that Naby Keita is going to come off worse. And that might be one of those where Paul Pogba was on the bench for the game. His head was absolutely gone because it suggests that in the biggest of games, Ole probably doesn't trust him. Go back to when Stevie G got sent off at Anfield against Herrera a minute after half-time. When you're coming off the bench and you've had a massive beef with the manager, it doesn't come any surprise that Paul Pogba got sent off. Not just because it's him, just because it happens. And he's more or less saying to the manager, you don't trust me, you're not seeing me for 3 games again.
So, where do they go from here? They have got 1 point from 4 league games, out the Carabao Cup. I went to the Atalanta game. They are sneaking their way through Villarreal and Atlanta coming from behind to win there. Where on earth do they go from here with the manager situation?
I don't think they'll change the manager today or this week or in the next couple of weeks. I don't think they will. I think they've invested far too much. I think Ole's spent far too much as well. They've committed themselves to a certain amount of time with Ole.
This is 3rd full season.
Yeah,
That's a lot of time.
No, it is, and a lot of money as well. And I don't think he has the knowledge of being in this kind of situation at a club like this. And he has nothing to fall back on. That's the thing that's really hindering Ole at the moment. He doesn't know how to deal with it because he's never been here before at a club of this stature. I still think they'll stay with him for a certain amount of time. But I think the players, I'm all about the players, me. Yes. Ole's having a stinker as a manager at the moment. We know that. But for me, the players have to stand up and be held accountable. They have to be. For that performance, they have to be embarrassed by that.
I think there's a bigger picture when you talk Man United and you talk Ole and boardroom level. Because I don't understand the plan. I don't understand the structure. It's almost like Man United...
Well, we've said it before. What is the structure? What's the identity?
It's almost like Man United, in my humble opinion, over the last 12 months have been very lazy in the transfer market. They've heard all the rumours about Donny van der Beek going to Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus. So Man United have gone, we'll have no plan whatsoever where to play him. They watch Borussia Dortmund last season and the season before and they see Jadon Sancho ripping it up in the Bundesliga. And Man United have gone, £75 million, we'll have him. Where we're going to play him? It's on the bench. You'd have been better off putting £100 million into Declan Rice and fixing the bigger problem.
But he hasn't bought bad players, has he, Don? They're not bad players.
No, but has he bought players to fix the system?
That's the point. He hasn't bought bad players, has he?
What I would say is those 2 players, an example, are brilliant players, but they're going backwards because their confidence.
And were they needed? Were they the priority?
That's my biggest point.
No, I'm completely with you. But the players he's bought are world-class players. It's what have you bought them for, and where are you going to play them? How are they going to make you better?
There's always a number that puts a manager under serious threat. There's always a number. You watch a game and you go, Daniel Farke losing 7. Yeah. That can get you the sack. You lose 5 against Liverpool with Tottenham and Man City coming up.
Tottenham, Man City,
they'll be all right. They get
Atalanta.
6 points. 6 points from the next 2 games.
In full, Arsenal kicked things off in style on Friday night. Watford got their first win under Claudio Ranieri in a crazy game at Goodison Park, with Manchester City impressing at Brighton.
So here's how the table looks then. The bottom 3 are all still waiting for their first wins of the season. In fact, Watford were the only bottom half side to take 3 points this weekend.
Chelsea remain top of the pile with Liverpool and City hot on their heels. West Ham move up to 4th with United, there you go, in 7th on the same points as Arsenal. Liv's with us today. It's Monday. Liv's on the couch. Look, I don't think any Manchester United fans are going to be watching. They'll probably be turning off. If they are watching, they'll be watching from behind here, won't they? There's a couple down here.
Yeah. A pretty awful day for Manchester United fans, and it was also a pretty awful day for Norwich fans as well. That's where I wasn't working, but I was at Stamford Bridge, and I actually ended up feeling quite sorry for them by the end of it because they just offered nothing, and it was just a rampage from Chelsea. And for Mason Mount as well, his first Chelsea hat-trick, that was really, really nice to see.
It felt like it was quite a big weekend for statement wins because City didn't have it all their own way against Brighton, but they won. Liverpool, of course, with that big win over Manchester United and Chelsea as well.
I think we were all talking, weren't we, about a four-way title race at the start of the season, but 9 games down, I think it's safe to say that it's probably going to be Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester City in that title race. And it was a huge weekend, wasn't it? 40 goals, as Will said earlier, in the Premier League, and so many huge moments. That's what we want you guys to get in touch with using the hashtag PLFans. What was your moment of the weekend? And we'll have Dion Dublin on the sofa a little bit later on today to discuss the weekend's action as well.
Yes, do get those tweets in using the hashtag PLFans. There is plenty for us to discuss, but there is only one place to start today's show. It was all eyes on Old Trafford yesterday as Liverpool put on quite the show. Well, what a win it was for Jurgen Klopp's side. So let's start talking about Liverpool. There's only one man we can start talking about Liverpool with, really, isn't it? It's our reporter, Simon Crabtree. Simon, what a win. We'll talk about Manchester United. You're obviously outside Old Trafford at the moment, but what a win for Jurgen Klopp's side.
It was incredible, wasn't it? I don't think anybody genuinely expected that. Liverpool fans beyond their wildest expectations, and for Manchester United fans, it was their worst nightmare, wasn't it? Liverpool's best results equalling the 5-0 win here back in 1936 against Manchester United at Old Trafford. And what an occasion it was. And from the very off, Liverpool just tore them to shreds so early on as well after the 3rd minute getting the goal. Manchester United, and we'll talk about their defence shortly, but they were all over the shop. And Liverpool couldn't believe it, and they took absolute advantage of it. 19 goals in 5 away this season, 19 unbeaten. In all 8 away from home, they've scored 3 goals or more. And that's despite, of course, having various injuries, more so now in midfield. But it was very much a ruthless display. Mo Salah's hat-trick, thought he'd overrun it there. We'll talk about him in just a moment as well. So how can Liverpool fans not get carried away after that one? One man who's trying to keep everybody's feet on the ground, trying to keep everybody like a little Fonzarelli and staying cool, is the Liverpool coach, Jurgen Klopp.
It'll help the boys that we don't misunderstand the situation. So that's really important. We won games before high and reacted when we were younger, not as long together, got a bit carried away by our own whatever results, performances. That will not happen again. So we know. For the people tonight, it's great. Come on. How is that? My wife was here as well somewhere there, so she enjoyed it, obviously, I hope, as well. And, yeah.
Was that why there was a little bit of an extra fist bump?
No, I wouldn't have done the fist bump. I don't think you should do it away. But the people were asking for it, and then, come on, who am I that I deny that? But, no, 1 or 2 here were for her, but not a fist bump.
So, Simon, it's Monday. Well, look at that smile. I love Crabbers' smile today. Monday, and as we've been doing all season on a Monday, is talking about which Liverpool record Mo Salah has broken. And there's another one.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? He just absolutely keeps on going. He's now clear at the top of the all-time Premier League goal scorers from Africa. He's now got 107, so he's gone clear of Didier Drogba's 104 that he got. What is more incredible, Salah did it in 167 games. Drogba's 104, and bearing in mind Drogba was a striker, was done in 254 games. Do the maths to work out the difference in there, but almost 100 games less. He's scored in 10 consecutive matches now. He's scored 3 in a row against Manchester United here at Old Trafford. The first hat-trick for Liverpool at Old Trafford since Fred Howe, that game that we told you about back in 1936. It is incredible. And I know we mention it every time, but about that contract, because his current contract with Liverpool runs out at the end of next season, but of course into next season, then he can start thinking about talking to other clubs. Maybe Liverpool, I'm sure, will want to get him tied down. We heard the interviews that he did with us during the weeks, and it's out of his hands. Over to you, Liverpool, but it will be ramped up even more now. But Mo Salah, as ever, speaking after the match, was an incredibly modest man.
One negative, though, for Liverpool, the injuries to James Milner and Naby Keita, the latter of which, Simon, looked pretty nasty.
Yeah, we won't know. I would imagine we'll find out tomorrow. Liverpool are hoping that they can find out the full extent of that one. If you remember, it was when Paul Pogba got sent off when he challenged Naby Keita in that one there. Pogba got a red eventually after VAR. And then you can add, of course, to that, as you said, James Milner, who twisted when he turned earlier on in the game. Thiago Elliott out, Fabinho out. And all of a sudden, you sort of got echoes of last season or the season before when Liverpool had defensive worries at the heart of defence. So who's going to play in midfield now? Well, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's there, Jordan Henderson is there. They won't want to keep exerting them. And then you're thinking about maybe wild cards. England played Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield and Jurgen Klopp scratched his head. I wonder if he's potentially thinking about it now. And it's also worth remembering that Joel Matip, when he played in Germany, he played a good few games for Schalke in midfield as well. So there's a potential answer to those questions, but they will, given the games that Liverpool have got coming up as well, thick and fast, haven't they? League Cup game next against Preston North End, Brighton in the Premier League this week, and then they've got that reverse fixture against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League to come as well. So Jurgen Klopp will be looking for answers. We'll get answers probably tomorrow when Jurgen Klopp speaks to us next to the press about the injuries to James Milner and also to Naby Keita.
Right, let's talk Manchester United. I think the only thing to say is dearie, dearie, dearie me. It kind of sums it up from their point of view. Look, and it's such a boring statement, Simon, isn't it? Saying that, oh, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under pressure. We've been saying that for 4 years and he's still there and he's still expected to be there, isn't he?
You're always under pressure, every single pressure. Even Sir Alex at occasions was under pressure here at Manchester United. We keep hearing from the people at the top that he is rock solid, that they have got their trust in, that he is building a plan, that they have supported him financially. But if you lose at home to one of your historically biggest rivals in such a manner that they did, then you just wonder if a question mark starts to appear. Now, they've lost 3 of the last 4. They've only picked up 1 point in that time. They will hate October as well, because this time last year they were losing 6-1 to Spurs. This time, 10 years ago, it was that defeat against Manchester City here, the 5-0 defeat at Chelsea, the 5-0 defeat against Newcastle, all happening in October. But poor Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, well, some may say not poor Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I listened to quite a number of phone-ins yesterday coming back home, and a lot of Manchester United fans are angry and upset. We're still hearing that from the top. Is rock solid, but you just wonder whether there is a question mark against him now. However, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, speaking after the game, was quite strong, was quite resolute. He says he's not going anywhere as far as he is concerned, and what's more, he said his team, his squad, the management will all stick together.
And these players and this group has come too far to give up. I know I've seen the development through the years I've been here with the group. They stick together, they look after each other, and today we weren't good enough individually, collectively, hands up. And you have to acknowledge and accept that. But there's nothing wrong with the attitude and application. Or of course you can say that when you lose 5-0, but going into the game, everyone's got each other's back.
Yeah, Harry Maguire also came out and spoke after that game as well and said they all need to go home and look at themselves in the mirror, but particularly defensively for Manchester United, Simon. It just hasn't been what we've been used to for them. Clean sheets have been so hard to come by.
Yeah, they have. It's 10 without a clean sheet. Now it's 13 matches here at Old Trafford without a clean sheet. I appreciate that losing Varane will have been a big problem for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but it's been incredible. It was the manner of some of the goals all over the shop. I think it was the second goal, wasn't it, where Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw sort of bumped into each other on the edge of the area. They left so many spaces. I was looking at the stats last night as well in terms of the defence. Tackles won, the lowest in the Premier League. Errors leading to shots, the worst in the Premier League. Clean sheets, just 1 so far this season. That leaves them 18th in terms of that record, and goals conceded. 15 they've conceded. That is one of the worst in the Premier League as well. It doesn't look good, does it? The switching of midfield, it perhaps leads to a little bit of the uncertainty. Leading Jadon Sancho on the bench for that game was another questionable one for some. I appreciate Pogba's sending off was also a problem, but a lot of questions to be asked.
Well, Simon, thank you as always for joining us. I would love to see Simon's notepad one time, wouldn't you? The stats that he reels off.
You're boring. You don't want to see it. Yeah. Nothing.
And there we go. We'll just wheeled him out on that.
This guy's notepad, on the other hand, is Ziad Mansour from beIN Sports. Look at that smile. I wonder who Ziad supports. I wonder, just look at that. I can't figure it out. It's a red team. It's in the northwest somewhere. It's in Merseyside.
Don't know.
Look, he definitely enjoyed it. Ziad, you were at Old Trafford yesterday. I mean, you know, we've heard the Manchester United side of things there from Simon. It could have been so much more as well, given that Manchester United were down to 10. And everyone was kind of expecting 6, 7, 8. And to keep it to 5 was to their credit, I guess. What was the atmosphere like in there, Ziad?
Well, thanks for having me, first of all. Of course, I'll try to be professional, but yes, I might be biased. It's so clear who I support. But this is the fixture that I always look forward to when the fixtures are out. The first one I look forward to, and every Liverpool fan, every United fan also does that. And that's why winning a game like this one was really massive for Liverpool fans and was really disappointing for the United fans. The atmosphere, to be fair, when the game started and before the game started, the United fans were really, really loud. But minutes after the first half, they can sense what's coming, and they started to get quieter and quieter in the first half. It was interesting at the end of the first half that the fans were booing and even screaming at the players. But when they came out in the second half, they kept on supporting for the whole 45 minutes. I think the word for that is defiance. They wanted to show that, okay, we know that we're losing, but we're not going to lose face in front of the Liverpool fans who stayed very loud at the end of the game. And you can hear them maybe in the post-match interviews because they had to stay a little bit longer inside the stadium. They were really enjoying the occasion.
Yeah, you mentioned there the post-match interviews. I also alluded to it before when we were talking to Simon, the fact that Harry Maguire came out afterwards. But all of the interviews that we saw, the United players just seemed shell-shocked. Is that how they seemed to you when you spoke to them?
Yeah, indeed, they were really shell-shocked. But what can they do? Because this is a historical result against their bitter rivals, and they know what it means for Manchester United fans to see such a performance and see such a result. But to be fair, because I know that Simon was talking about the statistics and all of that, and he talked about the defence and how poor they were. I think I've tweeted something along the line that what United maybe need is someone like Bobby Firmino, who is a very underrated player. He's such a great player and as the first line of defence. I know that they were criticising United defence, but no one was protecting them, not their midfield, not their attackers. They were not putting the effort in, and that's why their defence was so exposed against a lethal attack like Liverpool. And that's why, like, especially Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw looked really, really down in the post-match interviews. And I think it was brave of them to come out and speak, to be fair.
His face was buried, wasn't it? Bruno Fernandes and Eric Bailly with his hood up just didn't want to be seen. They could see them on the bench. Look, Simon mentioned it there. 10 years minus 1 day was that Manchester City 6-1 victory for City. We got a Manchester United cameraman here. Which one was worse, Hutch? Was it the 6-1 or was it the 5-1? 5-0?
I don't think Hutch wants to talk this morning.
I mean, look, you don't know with Manchester United which one's worse. Liverpool, of course, is a bigger rivalry and up to date and up to speed. But they are humiliating ones, and they're ones that will be remembered for years and years to come, won't they, those defeats?
Well, I was there for the 6-1, and I remember it very clearly. But at the time, you knew that this was a one-off because United had a great team at the time, and they were trying, of course, to compete, and they competed, and they won things this side. But with this one, you still have a lot of doubt about it, and especially, as you said, against Liverpool. City at the time was an emerging force, but Liverpool United is always the biggest game in English football, and to lose in that way against your bitter rivals was really, really hard for them.
So, yeah, that's typical Jordan Henderson, isn't it? Just playing it all down. And he did that during that title-winning season. How good did Liverpool look? And do you think that as a team in general, they're stronger than that title-winning season 2 years ago?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think this side is way stronger than the one that won the title. Of course, we cannot compare until they win something, but they seem more balanced. And you were talking about players missing, and even Simon was talking about players missing, and still you wouldn't feel that they are missing those players, unlike what happened before. Jordan Henderson, for my first question, I asked him as a Liverpool captain, and because he played a lot of these games, what it means to him. Because, yes, I know he's from Sunderland, but he's a born-again Scouser. He really understands the club really well, really have the passion for the fans, and that's why he knew how much this game really means. He had a smile, but he didn't want, of course, because he's maybe a good politician, a captain, so that's why his answers were measured. But he had a smile. He really understood what this means going forward. This side is really a strong side in all departments, and when they have older players, I think they are really, really going to compete at the highest level.
And yeah, we can't really talk to you about Liverpool as a Liverpool fan without giving a nod to that man, Mohamed Salah. We've run out of superlatives to almost describe him now.
Oh, yeah, it's gotten really harder to describe Mo Salah. What he's doing is absolutely amazing. And I think now maybe he needs to get more recognition than we also give him. I know he's getting a lot of recognition, but he is a superstar, someone that we won't see like for a long time. We always talk about Messi and Ronaldo, but he's the next thing that we can talk about. And everyone was billing this game as Ronaldo versus Messi, and I think there was only one winner in that game. And Mo, of course, not only the goals he scored, the way that he played, he was running hard for the team, he was tracking back, and he was assisting like he did for the Naby Keita goal. He really is on top form at the moment, and everyone in the Arab world is really proud of him.
Ziad, get the guitar. Can you just play us into the break with You'll Never Walk Alone?
No, don't look back in anger.
Very good, very good.
Ziad, top man. That's Ziad Mansour from beIN Sports. He was there yesterday.
Putting everyone on the spot today, aren't you?
One day he'll do it. He'll get it, and then we'll have something perfect, won't we?
You never know. Anyway, we have been asking you guys to get in touch. Liv asked you at the top of the show to let us know your moments of the weekend. We've had plenty of tweets coming in on the hashtag PLFans. Israel Mansour says, my moment of the week was Manchester United losing at home. Wow, what a weekend. This is why we love the Premier League.